The world can break your body, but it cannot touch your spirit, unless you let it. We are born into chaos. Noise, fear, betrayal, ambition, they circle us like vultures from the start. Most people live their whole lives trying to escape this. They run. They hide. They distract themselves with comfort, success, attention. But a Stoic learns to stand still. To stop asking the world for safety and start asking himself, who do I choose to become in the middle of the storm? Because life is not a gentle teacher. It slaps, it burns, it takes. It throws you into grief, loss, confusion. And the world doesn't apologize. But Stoicism says, let it come. Let the fire rise. You are not here to be safe. You are here to be strong. Not strong in muscle, not strong in wealth, but unbreakable where it matters most, in the soul. You can become invincible. Not by controlling the world, but by controlling how you respond to it. Not by winning every battle, but by making peace with what is out of your hands. A Stoic does not beg fate to be kind. He simply trains for whatever fate decides. Seneca said, "You are obligated to die standing, undefeated." That's not poetry. That's not metaphor. It's an order. It's a reminder that philosophy was never meant to decorate your bookshelf. It's armor. It's a weapon. It's how you look death in the face and feel nothing. Because death may come. Pain may come. But your courage, that belongs to you. It can't be taken unless you surrender it. The Stoic does not say, "I will never fall." He says, "I will rise every time." He does not say, "I will never feel pain." He says, "I will not let pain define me." He does not chase praise, because he knows how fast the crowd turns to hatred. He does not dread insults, because he knows how meaningless they are in the face of time. He does not worship his own reputation. His worth is not rented from other people's approval. It is built quietly, inwardly, and it is his alone. To become invincible, you must first stop believing that anything outside you can give you peace. Not wealth. Not admiration. Not even love. All of these things are fleeting. They come and go, not by your will, but by chance. A Stoic does not cling to what he cannot keep. He prepares to lose it all, and remain whole. People think strength means never feeling fear. That's wrong. A Stoic feels the fear and moves forward anyway. He doesn't wait to be fearless. He chooses clarity. He sees the thing he dreads and says, "I will meet it head on. If it kills me, it kills me. But I will never kneel." Marcus Aurelius, ruler of an empire, wrote to himself in the dead of night, "If it is endurable, endure it. If not, then end it. Either way, do not complain." He knew he could not choose what life gave him. But he could always choose his posture. His attitude. His discipline. He could choose not to break. Epictetus, born a slave, crippled by cruelty, became a philosopher of inner freedom. He said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." The world owned his body, but not his mind. That was his territory. And in that territory, he ruled. Do you understand what that means? That the world can strike you, imprison you, betray you, and you can still be free. Because freedom isn't a condition. It's a stance. It's the way you hold your own mind, even when everything else is taken. And invincibility doesn't mean being untouchable. It means refusing to be conquered. What do you believe you cannot live without? Whatever it is, that's your master. That's your weakness. Your fear clings to it. Your mind bows to it. To become strong, you must first see clearly what controls you. And then, start letting go. This is not easy. It's not glamorous. It won't win you applause. But it will give you something deeper, self-command. The ability to sit inside suffering and still choose dignity. The ability to face loss and still choose gratitude. The ability to wake up inside a nightmare and say, "Even now, I am not broken." Don't wait for peace to come from the outside. It never will. The economy will crash. Friends will leave. People will betray you. Your health will fail. You will lose what you love. These are not pessimistic guesses. These are guarantees. But the good news is, none of it can touch who you are, unless you let it in. That's the path of Stoicism. To live each day with the awareness that everything is temporary. That nothing belongs to you. And that your only true possession is your own response. Your discipline. Your values. Your reason. If you can master that, then you are untouchable. You become your own fortress. Not a fortress built on pride or ego, but one built on truth, on humility, on the courage to say, I am not immune to pain, but I am no longer ruled by it. When you stop chasing what you cannot control, you become calm. When you stop fearing what you cannot avoid, you become clear. And when you stop clinging to what you cannot keep, you become free. You may still suffer, but you will never be defeated. Strength is not something you find in perfect conditions. It is forged exactly where everything is wrong. When you are tired, uncertain, when life doesn't make sense, that is where you practice. Because that is where you live. No one trains for a peaceful day. You train for the hard ones. You don't build character in the light. You build it in the dark. When no one is watching. When everything in you wants to quit. When comfort calls, and fear whispers, and your old habits pull at your feet. That's when you have a choice. You can go numb, as the world teaches you. Or you can step forward and say, let me meet this moment as a student of life. Let it sharpen me. To the Stoic, nothing is wasted. Not failure. Not heartbreak. Not humiliation. All of it becomes fuel. All of it can be used. Pain is not the enemy. It's the forge. If you learn to stand still inside it, you come out shaped, not shattered. Hardened, not hollow. When Marcus Aurelius lost children, he did not scream at the sky. He returned to the page, to his discipline, to his reason. He reminded himself that he was not promised anything. That life is loaned, not owned. And that gratitude does not begin when things are perfect, it begins when you see clearly what is not in your control and stop demanding that it should be. Do you want to be strong? Then look your suffering in the eye. Let it teach you. Ask, what part of me still breaks too easily? What have I not yet trained? The Stoic does not numb himself with optimism. He prepares himself with clarity. He does not say, everything will be okay. He says, whatever comes, I will endure it. And if I fall, I will fall with courage, not complaint. That's what it means to become invincible. Not that you stop hurting, but that you stop surrendering your inner peace to outer events. Not that you become cold, but that you choose warmth without attachment. Not that you become fearless, but that you become obedient to your reason, not your panic. Seneca wrote, misfortune is virtue's opportunity. He meant that suffering doesn't block the path, it is the path. That what you hate might be the thing you need. That the hardship you curse today might be the weight that trains your soul for tomorrow. But only if you stop asking, why me? And start asking, how can I grow from this? That shift is the beginning of freedom. Not when your life gets easier, but when your mindset gets sharper. When you stop needing things to go your way in order to stay calm. When you stop praying for comfort and start preparing for challenge. The truth is, we are soft. Most people live in fear of discomfort. Afraid of being disliked. Afraid of being alone. Afraid of failing in public. But the Stoic seeks discomfort on purpose. He puts himself into challenge. Not because he enjoys suffering, but because he enjoys strength more than safety. Epictetus said, if you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid. That's the price. If you want to grow, you have to stop performing. Stop pleasing. Stop pretending. You have to become real, even if it makes people uncomfortable. Especially then. So much of what we suffer is not pain, it's the fear of pain. Not loss, but the dread of it. We die 1,000 times in our minds before anything even happens. The Stoic cuts through that with a blade of reason. He sees that death is natural. That failure is survivable. That judgment is irrelevant. He asks only one thing, am I living by my values? If yes, then let the world burn. What are your values? Not your opinions. Not your goals. But the lines you will not cross. The principles you serve even when no one sees you. Define them. Sharpen them. Make them your compass. Because when life goes dark, you will not rise to the level of your ambition. You will fall to the level of your training. And that's what Stoicism is, training. Rehearsal. A constant sharpening of the mind against reality. You read. You write. You reflect. You fail. You reflect again. You do not train once and call yourself strong. You train every day, because the battle is every day. The enemy is not outside. It's inside, your habits, your attachments, your illusions. You conquer them not with force, but with discipline. With awareness. With a radical commitment to truth. You question every story you tell yourself. Every fear. Every desire. You strip away everything that is not essential. And what remains, that is you. A man who has done this is untouchable. You can strip him of his possessions, his friends, his title, and still, he will not break. Because what he is cannot be taken. It was built inside, by effort, not by chance. And because he expects loss. He rehearses death. He does not cry when it knocks. He opens the door and says, "I've been expecting you." Most people cling. They cling to status, youth, love, plans, identity. But the Stoic holds lightly. He lives with open hands. And because of that, he walks freely. He gives freely. He loves deeply. And when the time comes, he lets go. That is power. Not control over others. But control over yourself. Not dominance, but dignity. Not comfort, but calm. And it is available to you. But only if you're ready to leave behind the illusions that have kept you small. The story that you are a victim. The belief that life owes you ease. The fear that pain is your enemy. Let the world do what it does. You, do what you were born to do. Stand. You were not born to be protected. You were born to be prepared. That's why life hurts. Not because it hates you, but because it's shaping you. Every wound, every failure, every heartbreak, they are hammers. And you are iron. The Stoics knew this. They didn't pray for ease. They trained for resilience. They woke up every day and asked themselves the same brutal question: what if today I lose everything? What if this is my last breath, my last sunrise, my last chance to act like the person I claim to be? And they lived from that awareness, not in fear, but in focus. Because when you remember that everything can be taken, you stop clinging. And when you stop clinging, you stop panicking. And when you stop panicking, you become clear. And in that clarity, you find peace. Real peace is not comfort. Real peace is discipline. It's knowing that no matter what happens, you will not betray yourself. That even if you are afraid, you will not act from fear. That even if you are in pain, you will not collapse into self-pity. That even if the world misunderstands you, you will not abandon your truth to be liked. Seneca said, "No man is more unhappy than he who never faces adversity. For he is not permitted to prove himself. You must be tested. You must be broken open. Because only then can you find out what's real. Not what's easy. Not what's convenient. What's real. Courage is not born in still water. It is shaped in waves. Every time life pushes you under and you come back up gasping, that is your strength. Every time you stand when it's easier to hide, that is your victory. And every time you keep your values intact when compromise would be simpler, that is your proof. You do not need to wait for a catastrophe to begin this work. Begin now. In the small moments. In the traffic, in the arguments, in the tired mornings and restless nights. That's where the training happens. Not on retreat. Not in silence. But in the chaos of your real life. Practice patience when your ego is screaming. Practice restraint when anger boils. Practice presence when your mind wants to run away. That's the real work. And no one will clap for it. But you will know. You will feel the weight lifting. The chains breaking. You will begin to recognize the thing inside you that cannot be touched. Do not mistake this for numbness. The Stoic does not shut off his heart. He opens it wider. He loves fully, knowing loss will come. He gives generously, knowing there may be no return. He trusts, not because people are perfect, but because he would rather live with openness than rot behind walls. That takes strength. That takes real confidence, the kind that doesn't need applause. Confidence is not loud. It is quiet. Unshaken. It doesn't need to be seen, because it knows what it is. It doesn't fear silence, because it is whole. A Stoic is not the loudest in the room. He is the still point. The one who listens deeply. Who sees clearly. Who speaks only when the words serve truth. Most people are ruled by their moods. They do what they feel like. If they're tired, they quit. If they're sad, they spiral. If they're angry, they lash out. And then they blame the world for what they became. The Stoic does the opposite. He does what is right, especially when he doesn't feel like it. Because he knows, character is formed exactly in those moments when it would be easier to act from weakness. And so, you must ask yourself, what kind of person do I want to be when no one's watching? What kind of man or woman do I want to be when the pressure rises? When things go wrong? When everything I love is on the line? If you do not know the answer, that's okay. But start asking. Because how you live matters. How you respond matters. And you are shaping that future self right now, in this moment, with every decision you make. Do not look for a teacher. Life will teach you. Do not look for the perfect book. You are already writing yours, day by day, in how you live. And if you're waiting to feel ready, understand this, you never will. Begin anyway. Epictetus reminded his students, you may delay, but time will not. Whatever you are postponing, the hard conversation, the discipline, the honest look in the mirror, stop postponing it. The cost is too high. This is your life. Not a rehearsal. Not a trial version. This is it. To become invincible, you must live as if every moment matters. Because it does. Not for the world. Not for the crowd. But for you. You are building your soul. Every word, every action, every reaction, they are bricks. Build something that can stand through the fire. One day, you will lose. You will be betrayed. You will get sick. You will watch someone you love suffer. You will face death. These are not maybes, they are certainties. The only question is, will you be ready? A Stoic doesn't wait for the battle to begin training. He trains every day, knowing the battle is already here. In his thoughts. In his reactions. In his choices. And in that constant preparation, he becomes free. Because the invincible man is not the one who escapes pain. He is the one who outgrows fear. And so can you. There will come a moment, quiet, unspectacular, when the storm rises again. Maybe it's illness. Maybe betrayal. Maybe the slow collapse of something you thought would last. And in that moment, you will not have time to prepare. You will not have time to search for wisdom. You will have only what you've already built. That is why you train now. You train so that when the ground shakes, you don't. So that when the silence breaks, you stay calm. So that when life asks, who are you without what you love? You have an answer. One that cannot be stolen. This is the final power of Stoicism, not to avoid suffering, but to be transformed by it. Not to rise above pain, but to pass through it with dignity. Not to escape death, but to meet it like an old friend, knowing it cannot take what you've already surrendered. You were never promised tomorrow. No one was. The Stoics knew this. That's why they lived every day as if it were enough. Marcus Aurelius wrote, do not act as if you were going to live 10,000 years. Death hangs over you. While you live, while it is in your power, be good. That is not gloom. That is liberation. Because once you stop clinging to time, you stop wasting it. Once you stop fearing death, you begin to live. Have you ever watched a man die well? A man who met the end without begging, without rage, without bitterness, only with peace. That is not luck. That is preparation. That is a life trained for its final hour. You will not be remembered for how much you owned, how loud you were, or how many people followed you. You will be remembered for how you carried your pain. How you treated others when no one could see. How you stood when life asked you to kneel. So do not wait for peace. Bring it. Do not beg for mercy. Create strength. Do not ask to be spared, become the kind of person who does not need to be. You have this power. It is not in the hands of the world. It is not in your past, or your future. It is in your choices, now. You can choose clarity over comfort. Discipline over desire. Principle over pleasure. You can choose to stand. You will fall. You will bleed. But you will not be conquered. That is invincibility. To be invincible is not to be unhurt, it is to become someone whom pain cannot break. And the world needs people like that. People who do not waver with every wind. Who do not sell their soul for applause. Who do not collapse at the first sign of failure. The world needs quiet strength. Unshakable values. Calm in the middle of noise. Fire that does not burn others, but lights the way. Maybe that person is you. But only if you choose it. Not once. Every day. You will not arrive at invincibility by accident. You will not stumble into it through comfort. You will have to suffer for it. Sacrifice for it. Bleed for it. But in that cost, you will find something no one can give you. And no one can take away. A soul. Clear. Strong. Ready. Free. Let others chase pleasure. Let others drown in distraction. Let others beg to be saved. You were made for something else. You were made for this. To rise. To endure. To outlast. To remain human when others forget what it means. So stand up. Face the day. Face yourself. And walk forward, unbroken. You are not safe. You are not finished. But you are, already, invincible.